Hello and welcome to another episode of This Food in History. Today we are talking about a simple history that I see people argue about in many comment sections. Fettuccine Alfredo. Is this Italian or American pretending to be Italian? The answer is yes. Yep, it's yes. You can't say yes to it more. Well, it's yes. Let's dig into how we got here. Fettuccine Alfredo is actually a different dish between the two countries, but the popular dish is still thanks to the same family. Alfredo di Lelio is the man we can thank for both versions of these dishes. Born in Rome in 1883, Di Lelio received a background in food as his family owned the restaurant Piazza Rosa, where he worked for his mother Angelina. The restaurant closed in 1910, and the area turned into a shopping arcade called Galleria Sordi. By 1914, Di Lelio would open Alfredo on Via della Scrofa in central Rome. In the 4 years between these restaurants, Di Lelio's wife Inez got pregnant with their first son Armando. People report this part of the story differently, but either a bit before or after giving birth, Inez was having a hard time eating. Alfredo wanted to give her something that would nourish and help her get back on her feet. This is where he put together a new variation of an ancient dish. Alfredo used fresh fettuccine, rich butter burro, and fresh Parmigiano cheese formaggio. For a dish his wife could not only eat, but advised he add to his menu at Alfredo's. The interesting thing is this dish is a variation on an older Roman pasta dish, macaroni romaneschi, tagliatelle, from the 15th century. Maestro Martino de Como wrote his Libro de Arte Culinaria, considered a cornerstone of Italian cuisine literature that marks the passage from medieval cookery to Renaissance cuisine. Take beautiful flour and knead it to form a dough that is fattier than the one needed for lasagna and wrap it around the staff. Release the wrapped dough and cut it in strips 1 fingertip wide, thus obtaining long stringy strips. These are added with aged cheese and butter. The use of butter was common in southern Italy at the time, with wealthier families who wished to stand out from the less affluent who used locally produced olive oil instead. Tagliatelle with butter and Parmigiano are therefore to be considered Italian and specifically Roman. This fettuccine Alfredo would remain on the menu through the tourist business would be affected by World War I. Prohibition in America helped bring them back during the Roaring '20s when upper-class Americans came to Italy for booze and wine. Hollywood stars Douglas Fairbanks and Mary Pickford came to Alfredo's while on their honeymoon in 1920. They found his fettuccine dish irresistible and returned many times for it, as well as bragged about it back home in California. They even presented Alfredo with a golden-plated spoon and fork inscribed "To Alfredo, the King of Noodles, July 1927. Rumor has it these were melted down for Mussolini's war efforts, but there are various places today claiming to have the authentic versions. Alfredo had a special touch with his dish, including how his philosophy was that it was to be eaten warm. As an old saying goes, friends and food must be warm. To accomplish this, he would mix it right at the table so diners could immediately begin eating instead of waiting for it to be brought out. The attention Alfredo's dish was getting ended up in the international press, and soon it appeared in a cookbook in the United States, the Rector Cookbook by George Rector, who started the rumor about the golden utensils. World War II, however, was not kind to Rome's restaurants, and until 1944, during liberation by the U.S. Fifth Army, they were closed. Within 2 years, Alfredo sold to 2 of his waiters, and it's still open to this day. Armando was gifted a new restaurant called Il Vero Alfredo, the True Alfredo's, in Piazza Agosto Imperatore, and also remains to this day managed by Alfredo's grandson, Alfredo III, with his sister Inez. So with all of that, how do we get to the American version of Fettuccine Alfredo that's filled with creams and multiple cheeses, parsley, and pepper? The States have heard about this popular dish with the Hollywood crowd, and they wanted to make their own. But they don't have access to the rich butters and Parmigiano Reggiano cheese until well after World War II. They can't make it as rich as it is in Italy. The solution was to find a way to boost that taste, which is how heavy cream and flour started to be added to the dish. Chefs then wanted to make it more elaborate, started adding parsley. This is how I learned of an Italian saying, "Parsley is like children, it gets into everything." Alfredo eventually goes on to open restaurants in America, including one in 1977 with a partner near Rockefeller Center in New York City. He also had one in Epcot at Disney World that closed in 2007. This place popularized Alfredo sauce, and the dish Americans are more familiar with to this day. A dish with heavy cream, milk, shrimp, chicken, and more that suited American tastes rather than the Italian ones. This is the crux of the disagreements on the origins. You cannot order fettuccine alfredo in most Italian restaurants, but you can maybe find the original version under fettuccine al burro, sometimes even alle crema if they know they can get a lot of American tourists. And here in the States, you'll consistently find the cream-covered fettuccine alfredo on menus anywhere pasta is sold. Thank you so much. This has been another episode of This Food in History. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more. Bye!